In the year 1844, Adventists expected Jesus to come, according to the prophecy of Daniel chapter 8. When this didn't happen, they found answers in the book of Revelation. In chapter 14, they found a series of 3 angels. Each of these angels has a message. It's important to understand what the symbol of an angel means in this case. The key is that they come from heaven to the earth with a message for all the people of the earth. If you think about it, when God wants to tell the world something, He sends people to do it. Jesus told His disciples, "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." So these angels actually represent movements of people and the messages they teach. The 3rd angel is really a warning to people not to accept the mark of the beast, because those who receive the mark of the beast will be involved in the final destruction of the earth. We can find a link from Revelation chapter 14 back to chapter 7. There's an angel here too. Look at what he does in Revelation 7, verses 2 and 3. "And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads." This angel cries out to the other angels who are holding back trouble on the earth to keep holding till he's able to seal God's servants. We'll look at this a little more in another video, but for now, let me show you some historical information about how Adventists understood who this angel is. Ellen White recalls a vision from 1848, and she says this: "At a meeting held in Dorchester, Massachusetts, November 1848, I had been given a view of the proclamation of the sealing message and of the duty of the brethren to publish the light that was shining upon our pathway." Brother Loftborough wrote down a little more about what happened at that meeting, and especially during the vision that Mrs. White had. You can read it in his book, which is called The Great Second Advent Movement, but let me read you some parts of it now. "A small company of brethren and sisters were assembled in a meeting in Dorchester near Boston, Massachusetts. Before the meeting commenced, some of us were examining some of the points in the sealing message. After some time spent in earnest prayer for light and instruction, God gave Sister White the following in vision. We quote the words as they were spoken by her while in vision. 'Where did the light break out? Let thine angel teach us where the light broke out. It commenced from a little, when thou didst give one light after another. The testimony and commandments are linked together. They cannot be separated. That comes first, the 10 Commandments, by God. He was well pleased when His law began to come up in strength, and the waste places began to be built up. Out of weakness it has become strong from searching His word. The test upon it has been but a short time. It's the seal, it's coming up. It arises, commencing from the rising of the sun. Oh, how mighty is that truth! It's the highest after they enter the goodly land, but it will increase till they are made immortal. The angels are holding the 4 winds. It is God that restrains the powers. The angels have not let go, for the saints are not all sealed. When Michael stands up, this trouble will be all over the earth. Why, they are just ready to blow. There's a check put on because the saints are not sealed. Yea, publish the things thou hast seen and heard, and the blessing of God will attend." All of these words are the words that Sister White actually spoke in the vision. But Brother Loftborough's book goes on, and he talks about what happened next. After coming out of this vision, Mrs. White said to her husband, "I have a message for you. You must begin to print a little paper and send it out to the people. Let it be small at first, but as the people read, they will send you means with which to print, and it will be a success from the first. From this small beginning, it was shown to me to be like streams of light that went clear round the world." Notice here that she saw the angel with the seal coming up like the sunrise. Revelation 7 says, ascending from the east. The message would have a small effect at first, but it would eventually reach right around the world. There's another thing they were studying about. It's the blowing of the winds on the earth. Brother Haskell talks about what was happening in the world right at that time in his book, The Cross and Its Shadow. And on page 363, you can read this. In 1848 occurred one of the greatest upheavals in the national affairs of Europe that had been for many centuries. Decided changes were made in some of the leading nations. In a brief period of time, many of the heads of Europe submitted themselves to the people. It looked as if universal war was inevitable. In the midst of the turmoil and strife came a sudden calm. No man could assign any reason for it, but the student of prophecy knew that the angels were holding the winds until the servants of God could be sealed in their foreheads. Sister White herself talks about what she was shown in a vision about the holding of the winds. This is from an article published in the next year in the Review and Herald. I saw 4 angels who had a work to do on the earth and were on their way to accomplish it. Jesus was clothed with priestly garments. He gazed in pity on the remnant, then raised his hands upward, and with a voice of deep pity cried, "My blood, Father, my blood, my blood, my blood." Then I saw an angel with a commission from Jesus, swiftly flying to the 4 angels who had a work to do on the earth, and waving something up and down in his hand, and crying with a loud voice, "Hold, hold, 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 until the servants of God are sealed in their foreheads." I asked my accompanying angel the meaning of what I had heard and what the 4 angels were about to do. He showed me that it was God that restrained the powers, and that he gave his angels charge over things on the earth, and that the 4 angels had power from God to hold the 4 winds, and that they were about to let the 4 winds go. And while they had started on their mission to let them go, the merciful eye of Jesus gazed on the remnant that were not all sealed. Then he raised his hands to the Father and pleaded with him that he had spilled his blood for them. Then another angel was commissioned to fly swiftly to the 4 angels and bid them hold until the servants of God were sealed with the seal of the living God in their foreheads. These documents show that Seventh-day Adventists understood that they were living in the time of the sealing of the 144,000. The sealing started with the third angel's message in 1844. It still continues today. Obviously, many people have already lived and died in the third angel's message, and we're still here, and Jesus hasn't come. What about all of that? Let's look at that question in the next video.